Welcome to another fun Sunday night where we'll be looking at, not miniatures today, but we'll be looking at some terrain for miniatures in the war games I play with them. The reason for this is that earlier today, just before starting the stream, I actually went on a 2-hour drive in the dark, and that really made my eyes way too tired to be able to focus on miniatures. So I do something else, another project that I've been pushing off for a while. That's assembling. See if we can get here. Assembling this Noble's carriage that I've been laying around for quite some time now. The idea with this is just to use it in the Malifaux games that I'm painting the other miniatures for, and I kind of think it just goes well with the style. I mean, if we take Santiago here, I think it looks pretty good. Sort of the Western style is kept in this. It's not official Malifaux terrain or anything like that. It just has a nice style. So let's see what we're getting ourselves into. I should point out that this here is a laser cut MDF 3mm by the looks of it, and I've really gotten some really good results with this. I can also see now that the it's called the instructions are not available in the package. I need to go look them up online. So I'll just do that in the meantime. You see ttcombat.com apparently makes these, but I just think it's kind of nice with scenery like this and terrain like this, because it just adds so much flavor to your games. So let us see if we can search on their website. Can we do this carriage? I'm not sharing my screen, I know. Hey Wohan. Hey Dave. David McDave. Welcome. And good morning. How's Monday? See, we have it here, and I just need to find the instructions online. They are not overly keen on showing them. Tables of scenic instructions. There we go. Yeah. What do we have here? Wild West. It's probably the good place to look. Oh, there's that ARC. Is that the Monday thing? Big day in the lab coming up. So, and Wohan, yeah, some of it is kind of fragile, but at the same time, it's not really. I mean, it's only 3mm thick, so you would easily be able to break it. I do that with the rest of the frame just to show how easy it is. But mostly it just, as long as you don't apply too much force, it's fine. It'll all be fine. So I think I may have found the right place to look for the instructions. Now I just need to actually find the carriage. The question is it actually in the Wild West, since it's called the Noble's Carriage, or is it in or is it actually hidden away in the fantasy section or whatever? Oh, there it is. No, I don't want to buy it. I already have bought it. And then we go back into the same place where we cannot see the building instructions. Well, isn't that just dandy? Well, that's a bit annoying. So No instructions, apparently. Well, this is going to be really fun then. Hey Modifian, welcome aboard. Okay, so basically the task today is to assemble this from this. And we don't have any instructions, so we only have the image here to go from, and my creativity and many years of studying as an engineer and forgetting all of it later on as a software developer. That's not a problem. Just get these sides out. Yeah, I mean, how hard can it be? Exactly. That's the spirit. And if it looks a little wonky in the end, I'm just gonna blame the kit. The round things could go to the pot. No, that's just crazy talk. So, but Dave, what's up with the lab? What are you doing there? You're making space mutants. Are you cloning yourself? Is it the lab where you're cloning what's called the original Stormtroopers? Jango Fett, from Star Wars. Is it first or second? I think it's the second one where they actually clone all the Stormtroopers. That would be pretty neat. So let's get this cut. See, what I'm doing here is, I don't know if you can see it, but if it would actually like to focus. Anyway, the thing they do with the laser cut terrain is that they almost cut it all the way through. They just leave a few small places where they haven't cut through the wood, which means that I just have to just cut that slightly and then just notch it out. That's a good point, Vohan. When you're working in a lab, you should actually have sort of a maniacal laugh. Evil supervillain genius kind of thing. It's been a few years since I was in a lab, really. Unless you're counting the Fab Labs, where people do these laser cut thingies. Oh, we have really small thingies here. They're going to be a pain to cut out, so I'm going to wait a little bit with those. That's the wheels. Enzyme activity in soil, riveting stuff. That actually sounds okay. I'm probably gonna reveal too much about how I think, but I actually do think it sounds very interesting to work with, figuring out what goes on in the soil and all those things. It sounds cool. Yes, you should have an Igor. Vohan, you know Igor from the Bastard Cafe. I shipped one off to some of the people doing the Incorrigible Party podcast, and they got it a few days ago. So we now have an Igor all the way over in the Midwest, I think it's called. Anyway, somewhere in the States, with some people doing role-playing podcasts and are streaming board games from time to time. So, of course, yeah, I mean, they've been having some bad luck lately with the die rolls. They played Kingdom Death Monster, and they got totally annihilated several times in a row. So I figured they could use a little luck. So, the round thing is, I don't know. I mean, round things seems impractical. Is it really something that has a future? What do you guys think? No? Now, while I'm cutting this out and hopefully cutting the wood and not my fingers, it would be a nice time to mention that, as always, we're listening to some of the music from Adrian von Ziegler, and I may have mistakenly in the past called him German. He's not. He's actually Swiss, as far as I've been able to find out. So I apologize for that, Adrian, if you ever watch this, which you probably don't. It is to do with soil health changes onto pine plantations and pasture. Pasture, that's where you have cattle, livestock. Is that right? Seems overrated. What seems overrated? Having an Igor or Kingdom Death Monster or wheels? Yeah, probably the wheels. Okay, now we get to the fun stuff here. Normally dairying. Okay. I have a feeling this is going to go horribly wrong, but then again, I am the type of person who will frequently say that life is too short to not read IKEA assembly instructions. Simply because I've seen way too many people open up a new piece of IKEA furniture or similar from other companies and look at it and go, oh, these two pieces fit here. I'm going to connect these first because it looks easy and cool, and I want to do this. And then they move on to something else and want to put that together. And then they realize that they can't because the other things are now in the way. So yeah, life is too short to not read the manual. So what else is new? I should do a promo again of the next 2 nights of streaming. That means Wednesday the 9th and Sunday the 13th. I'll be participating in an event me and some of the other Danish streamers are doing this Christmas, where we've all gotten our hands on one of these. I just bought mine at a local store, and we'll be painting one miniature online with using only the colors and quick shade in this, and using only this starter brush that's included and one other brush that we can choose. I will of course choose my 000 brush to get some fine details in, and on top of that, once I'm done, we'll Tuesday the 15th, I think, we'll join up on a combined stream where we talk about our experiences. How was it to work with so few colors, and the Army Painter colors, and how do we like those, and all those things. But since I've already in the past worked a bit with Army Painter colors and don't plan on keeping these ones because I actually replaced all my Army Painter with Vallejo, then I will do a giveaway of the starter paint set. So if you join in on either of those streams or both and just type something in the comments and tell me that you want to have a chance at winning the starter set, I will of course remind people once we get to the streams. But if you do that, I will make a lottery of all the people who have entered, and yeah, free stuff, and I'll ship it to you, or in case of you, Rohan, probably meet up at some point and just give it to you. I have no idea how it's gonna work when I have to end up having to sending this across the pond to people in the US or whatever. But we'll burn that bridge when we cross it, as the saying doesn't go. So yeah. Now, in addition to the paint set, I also really wanted to test out the wet palette they've made. So I also picked up a wet palette, and as I've mentioned before, if I really like this wet palette, I'll keep it for myself, If we just think that it's, you know, it's okay, nothing fancy, I will throw this in along with the paint set. So since I already have a really good wet palette, I think it's called from Red Grass or whatever it's called. Those of you who are used to wet palettes and painting probably recognize the box, you know, the one with the magnets at the end, and of course my Incorrigible Party sticker on top. But if free crappy stuff, well, it has to be better than the one I'm already using. Otherwise, there's no point in me keeping it. And it is a really good wet palette I have, so I just do the disclaimer in case I think it's immensely good. So most likely there will be a wet palette to go along with the starter set. So yeah. I will actually wait a bit with these because what we have here looks a little bit like the hub cap wheel thingies, the ones that go outside on the wheels. So I'll wait with those because they don't seem to be important right off. And these ones here are the lamps that go here on the side. So we'll wait a little bit with those until we get to that part. And you have a homemade. Yeah, I mean the homemade wet palettes, I used that in the beginning, and you can so easily make a really good wet palette. It doesn't take long. It's really cheap. You just take what's called a piece of Tupperware, preferably with a tight fitting lid. I'm gonna make a little bit of noise grinding down the bits on these. But when you do the homemade ones, the problem I had with the one I used was not the paint. That part was perfect, but I couldn't find a container with low enough edges or sides. So I always kind of sort of hit my brush on the side. I couldn't really get to the paints on all the what's called the baking paper I used. So I figured I would get one of the professional ones. And ironically, I actually think the baking powder seemed to work better for keeping the paint dry than the one that's included in the professional one. Yeah, 3 cm sides might work. I can't remember what I had, and I looked at places where I could get some, and all of a sudden you hit the sort of semi-professional Tupperware style boxes, and I just felt that all of a sudden that became as expensive. Getting a new one of those became as expensive as just getting a wet palette. So what we eventually have is one of the ones from IKEA. I'll be done with the grinding in a little bit. Oh, right. So it's one of those. So it's probably one of their spot offers, I'm guessing. The ones they don't always have. But yep, I will keep my eye open for those because I think it's still nice to actually just have a homemade wet palette, just to be able to show it to people on stream, maybe. Just to brag. So let's see. I don't want to grind the wheels too much because you can see every time you grind it, you remove a little bit of the coloring from where it was cut. So if I can avoid it, I prefer not to. But I also know that leaving in these small knobs can be a problem. Yeah. Now, holding moisture is, well, that's what a wet palette is. I guess that's half what the wet palette is for. So once you've mixed up your paints, you can actually leave it there and then keep painting the next day. So yeah. Okay, that's that. No more grinding here for now. And then we just need to pluck that one out. Now, this has got to be the sides of the carriage here. And we also have this one which is obviously the bottom. So this would seem like a, yeah, this definitely has to happen, but there are so many things in here that I need to figure out how to fit. As you have this one here, looks like the front, which I guess makes sense, because then you could go something like this, just one of them there, and then we can do this one here. Okay, cool. So that's that. Then we have the stepping boards down here, which I don't know where are. Looks like we don't have anything else up here, just that. I'm guessing this one is for the luggage or something in the rear. Seems to be some kind of small thing sticking out there. Oh, this is gonna go horribly wrong. I can also see there's a little bit of cutting out up here, which could probably be this. And then this one here. Come on. See, this is why you should always do a dry fit when doing these things, because then you can, it's a lot easier to redo these things if you haven't glued all of it together. So at least that looks like the beginning of something. Now what I'm slightly worried about, let's see if we can lift it up, are these two holes down here going there. I mean, these ones have got to be for the stepping boards, which might just be something like, because that's too thin. Man, that looked more or less correct. Otherwise, I mean, wouldn't that seem like the right thing here? Maybe it needs to be ground down a little bit. I mean, something like that. And then do we have two similar pieces of something? No, we don't. That's amazing. Then maybe this here. Doesn't look right. Oh well, we'll get to that when we get to that. So we will, this one here, what can we put in? That doesn't fit. Now, for people just joining us, this is a very interesting experiment because I couldn't find the instructions for how to assemble this. I also actually almost threw out this little piece here. Okay, so we're basically just trying to see what fits where. Now that one might fit here. Whoever made this they have really good designs in the sense that you can see the teeth here are differently spaced, which means that if I find something that actually fits here, there's a really good chance that that is what I have to actually use. Doesn't mean I can figure out the rest of it, but we'll just see how it goes. Now it's tempting to actually just glue all of this in place just to have some place to start. And again, here you can see that having the cutouts, oh sorry, drifting off screen there. Having the cutouts means that, means that you can actually see which side is up and which side is down. Now, of course, the wheels at some point will have to go on here. We'll get to that when we have the rest of it done. That is less relevant at the moment. This one here appears to be, I've just briefly assume we had this assembled here. And this one here looks like it is the holders for the what's called the torches or lamps at the side. So now we know that. I really think that these ones here are the ones for the stepping boards. That needs to go in underneath here, come out the side. But since I don't have, yeah, I have these two here, which are the only similar ones. Are they maybe these? But I mean, I'm gonna have to play around with this at some point later on. Because this part of the puzzle we're getting to now is how this fits on the end. And I think this one seemed to fit quite nicely here. Again, I'm guessing, you know, the small thing that sticks out here is for your luggage that's, you know, tied on or tacked on at the end. So we have that one. And then I'm guessing this. That be it? Oh yeah, there we go. So that one in there, that one in there, and this one in here. See, it's all coming together. So that's a good start. I guess this one goes here. Seems about right. And maybe that one there. So, cool. I mean, that looks like a box for storing your luggage. Oh, I think I know what some of this is. It's probably benches inside the wagon itself. Let's see if we can assemble something useful from that. So, these were the sides and the front and the roof and all that. Okay. So this one, that one goes in here. What do you know? Nope, doesn't fit. Damn it. So close. So what do we do then? We also have this one. Right, that one goes up here, I'm pretty sure, as the driver's seat. Fine, this goes into that pile. But this one here, or that one could go, no it can't. Need that one there. We can't really get that one here because then we get, you know, too far away. Oh, how about this? Well, my friends, how do you think about, let's see if we can just hold all of this together just long enough to show what I'm trying to do, which I can't. Where are my motor skills when I need them? There. And there. There and there, and yeah, fell down. But here we go. What do you know? Oh, you can't see that because of the angle I'm filming in. I'll just put it on a little bit again. Try fitting it here. No, just okay. So the problem is that since it's not glued in yet, it's just a little unmanageable here. But there we go. If I can just not knock this over. How do you feel about that for a seat? And then the only sort of unknowns we have are these, which have to be the stepping boards for getting into the coach. We will get to them later. So now that we know where everything fits, we can start gluing it. And this is the part where I promised you I would glue together my hands and fingers. But I think I'll wait with that until after I've assembled this. If that's okay with you, just give me an X in chat. Horrible suspension. Modifian, you're talking about suspension. And then you're calling me a pussy. Be nice. Well, don't be nice, then you wouldn't be you. So, I think the place to start would be, wouldn't that just actually be to assemble this and the front and the back, and then just trying to get this in afterwards? Yeah, I need to do that first. You're only here for the finger gluing. Well, I will get to that in a little bit. But I am sure that I will be gluing my fingers together at some point during this. Isn't that kind of my usual MO? Glue it, glue it. Oh, you guys are so cute. I mean, how's the saying? With friends like you, who needs enemies? Wait, does that actually go in there? Yeah, it does go on the inside. And of course, this one needs to go on the outside. Hey, lay off the beard. I think someone, Modifian, I think I need you to defend me a little bit here. Because it sounds like someone wants to glue my beard onto something. And I'm not entirely sure I feel comfortable about that. How far down does all of this go? It goes there. So yeah, so it doesn't actually fit down. It might fit here. We'll see. Some glue here. It's actually kind of interesting because, you know, having assembled a few of these things already, and also doing, when I did my own laser cutting for game inserts like Gloomhaven and stuff, you kind of begin to get an eye for where you need to glue on these things, so you don't have to sit and double check everything. Just go, oh, this makes sense. When you have the cutouts here, then you know that you need to glue this part. I'm gluing there, just a little bit down here, but not the round edge because it's a straight side. Oh, you want to scrape off my beard, put it on your own face. I guess I should be flattered. Sculpting it and selling it, epic shapes. Yeah, but I think my barber would be somewhat displeased if I showed up with glue in my beard. Oh, tusks. A tusky beard. Well, that's actually true. There's this thing about the horns. Why are there cutouts here? These two cutouts. I don't like that there are cutouts that I haven't used for anything. Okay, Modifian, this is getting creepy, but whatever floats your boat. Right, got it. I actually didn't need this. So there. That was glue on my fingers. Get it there. There, a little bit there, a little bit there, and you go in here. Now the funny thing about working with PVA glue is that it holds everything together just a little bit. I guess just from, I don't know, being moist or whatever. Watch your back at the cafe. Yeah, well, I'm actually kind of staying away from the cafe mostly these days because of Corona stuff and all that. And you know, if they really do have vaccines right around the corner, I just think it would be a shame to you know, get infected. So, but once things are a little more quiet, we definitely need to go again. So what did we want to do with this? We wanted to get it in here, so we want to do like this. At some point we need something here. We need to go on this side. We need something. I'm just talking to myself again, as usual, you know that. So I should rant about something. I feel like it's been too long since I've ranted. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's really difficult to figure out what the right thing to do with regards to like going to the cafe or not going to the cafe and all that, because if I go there, there's this recommendation is that we should not have more than 10 people that we see on a regular basis. And going to the cafe sounds nice. Let's say I meet up with Wohan and the other guy I play Malifaux with. Fine, it's 2 people. But then someone comes join us, and some other people join us then, and all that. It's sort of, you can easily get past the 10 people with random people joining in. Well, not random people. I mean, it's people we kind of know, but 10 people, that's not a lot of slots. There's not a lot of people, not a lot of room for random people dropping by. And even though some people I've heard say that, oh, but we're sitting across from a table that we're far from each other. Kind of have this. We're fiddling around with the same game pieces. We're doing at the same table. We're maybe moving some plastic board game pieces around or whatever. And it's kind of thing. I'm trying to be sensible, and I may be overcautious, but to be honest, I would rather be overcautious and not get infected, not only for my own sake, but also because it takes a while until you realize that you're infected, and I really, really don't want to pass on infection to someone else. Oh well, at the cafe, yeah, everyone are naked and are licking each other, so there's also that. I mean, but yeah, that's just that's just how things are in Denmark, I guess. No biggie. No, you've obviously not been to the board game cafe recently. Things have changed a little bit. So can I? Okay, so it's actually a thing for them in Denmark's statistics to classify cafes and stuff like that. And swinger cafes are what? Where did they find out? I mean, cafes, clubs. Okay, this is actually not going to be easy because it's going to fall down. It's going to be annoying, but with any luck, take our trusty pair of pliers, and maybe that will help a little bit. So there you. Well, there we almost went. There we almost had it right. So we just need to bring it up a little bit, if I can do that. And now this is the fun thing about doing all of this live. You get to see all of my silly mistakes. That actually went surprisingly well. Now we just need to glue in the last bit. You see it's now the bench is down there. I just need to glue in this part and we should be fine. Actually, this one wouldn't really need a lot of glue because it's all the way on the back and the inside. So it's not going to be anything pulling on it or applying pressure. You just reopened her disappointment. What if you that sounds like something we need to hear more about. Was she disappointed about where they categorized swinger clubs? This dropping down just a little bit here, but there is also do that. There we go. At least we lifted it up a little bit. Now we can just gently tap that down until it seems to be at a right angle there. So here you go. And again, it's not. Oh, I probably have it on manual focus. So anyway, that was the bench and the inside of the carriage. Begins to take form. So Morifin says that the boss is said to look at these other businesses instead, and they didn't get to look at the Swingers Club. That is disappointing. She's so sad again. She and her co-workers were looking forward to some very thorough categorization and discussion on this damned club. But apparently it was brought up in the fact that when businesses make the business stuff, they can choose their categories themselves, and some of them were very stupid. Oh, I'm dying to hear that. Pretty sure. I mean, I don't have any other stuff left, and no, from this one here, it looks like that one goes on this side, on the back. So I'm pretty sure there's only the one bench in there. Don't really know what else should be there, but the 4 holes in the floor, I think that is for, you know, creating the stepping board, the one here. And I think what needs to be done is this needs to be ground down a little bit. So they need to go in, well, obviously they won't at the moment, but need to go in like 2 of those. Go in there, or maybe like this. So you can actually bring it down a little bit. But you know, something like this somehow. The last box is not another bench. I'm pretty sure of that. I'll show you in a little bit. So the holes in the floor, I would say it's this one here. So you kind of have this stepping board floating underneath the carriage. And the box here that you can see here. Oh, that one here. There's no teeth on the last bit here. That one here, it does look like a bench, but as you can see, it's actually too wide to fit in here. Plus, it fits perfectly back here. Well, my fingers don't fit perfectly, but the other bits and pieces here do. So I'm gonna go with that, and then make the stepping boards a bit like this, and just grind them down and make sure they stick. But I think I'll take that later. So just need to glue this one, pieces and this one together. Looks there. So yeah, so it's probably not as exciting as you know, the miniature painting stuff, but no, when playing these games, I really do like having some really nice scenery. It just adds so much flavor. Perfect is a matter of force applied. That is absolutely correct. If it doesn't fit, get a larger hammer. No, but you know, having the scenery when playing games like this, just like when we played Kill Team Warhammer, it was awesome that you brought your Necromunda scenery to play with. I mean, you can use books instead of hills or whatever. You can use anything really. I mean, you just use your imagination and it'll be fine. But having something that actually looks like a building or looks like a stairway or whatever is, to me, it just makes the game so much more fun to play. So that's really cool. It is, and for those who don't know, the Necromunda, I guess, terrain is cardboard with plastic supporters, so you can build platforms, and you can build effectively small buildings, but they're made in such a way that they're open-sided, which means you can actually get to the miniatures, and you know, have them running around inside the buildings and all that. That's pretty cool. So that was that. We just need to there, which means we need to add some glue here. We'll add some glue. Towers and skyways, bridges, you know, all those things. That's perfect. I mean, you have miniatures running around, chasing each other, effectively trying to get at a place where they can shoot and fire and kill each other. So yeah, so having the bridges and the archways and all that, it's pretty cool. I actually have my eyes set on something similar. Again, you know, sort of laser cut scenery, where they've also done some. Okay, yeah. See you, Dave. Have a nice day in the lab working with the enzymes. Sounds cool. Enjoy your Monday. So let us see if this will do. Yeah, I did say this was a perfect fit, didn't I? So we're gonna go with the force applied approach. There we go. Just popping that into place. It's a little wonky on the back here, but you know, as I tend to say, give him all a laugh for us. Yeah, do that. Sure, it'll be a hoot. So yeah, so it's bending a little bit, but you know, there should be glue enough to keep all of this in place. I hope. If not, it'll just be a slightly wonky carriage. I mean, again, remember, this is just to have on the board to give some cover for miniatures, and again, it should be watched from a little bit away. Which is cool. All right, time to glue in the bench. This goes in here. No biggie. That one goes. Wait, can I actually get this one in here? Now, wouldn't that be rich if I couldn't? I can. But I can also see that it was. There is actually a right way for this to. Okay, how did I get this in, but now I can't get it out? There we go. So this one just drops in there like so. Let's just do this here. And here. This is a lot more forgiving than painting miniatures, because even though my hands are shaking, actually shaking quite a lot today, it's probably because I was out driving so much. As I said in the beginning, before coming home, you know, just in time, I only just got home in time for the stream. I was down visiting some friends down south part of Denmark, so I just went about 2 hours in the dark, and that just left my eyes completely wonky and tired and worn out. So, you know, focusing on miniatures, and even with the magnifying glass, just didn't seem like a good idea. So instead we're doing miniature terrain. So that was that. Almost done. That was this part. That's a seed. It's coming along nicely. We just need to plug this one in. And this is probably the part where I realized that I should have put the side on first, because now I probably can't get this one slotted in between the two sides of the carriage. But I don't care. I'm gonna do it my way. So yeah, but one thing I do like about just, you know, even though it may not seem like much and I didn't get any miniatures painted, I got the carriage assembled, which is better than nothing. And that is the trick for today, is that it is with these things, you know, your hobbies and, you know, painting, assembling the terrain, whatever, it's always better to get a little bit done than getting nothing done. I mean, this means that next time, and about Monday next week, I think it is, I will actually be playing Malifaux again. And then we're gonna have a carriage on the board. It's just gonna make the game look a little bit nicer. And you know, last week I got started on Perdita. May only just have, you know, painted her pants a little bit, but hey, she started. That's better than, you know, not having any paint on her. So always, just if you can find some time, you know, even if it's just half an hour or 20 minutes or anything like that, if it's more than your setup and breakdown time, if you actually can get in enough time that it makes sense for you to do it, of course, then I always advocate that you go ahead, because just getting a little progress is better than no progress. So what to do about these? I think they need to be ground down quite a bit to be able to fit. It's going to be really fiddly, so, but we'll do it anyway. It's just annoying a little bit here, and we have these ones over there. So we're going to grind them down a bit. Question is, can I do more than one at a time, or am I just gonna mess it up completely for myself? I probably am. Okay, this is probably really noisy on stream, so let me know if I should cut the audio feed while doing this. Did that get us anywhere? Oh, yeah, there you go. That was actually a little bit too much. But hey, now it fits. Let's do the same with the other side and see what we can get. We may just be able to finish this one off today then. So there you go. Nope. Glue fixes everything. With one thing glue doesn't fix is these ones here being too thin. I mean, you could glue it underneath, but that just seems a little wrong. But yeah, that one there, that one somehow, well, not all the way down up there, but like so, and like so. More glue. Right. Oh, that reminds me of Kerbal Space Program, which is a really fun computer game, space simulation. Little hard to categorize sometimes, because yes, there is a game element in it, but there's also so much physics going on that it's kind of difficult to just call it a game. There are physics in many games, like first-person shooters and so on, and all the space games. But here, in Kerbal, the entire concept is to build rockets that you can launch. That means that you have to be able to go into space. That means that they have to have, the right weight to thrust ratios and stuff like that. And it's just adds a level of complexity to the game. Look, again, glue on my fingers, but I'm not gonna touch my nose, even though I know you want me to, Modifian. And up in Kerbal Space Program, you have so many things where you actually need to understand a little bit about physics, and there are tools in game and mods you can add to make it easier, because it will assist you with these things. Like, what is the weight to thrust ratio? You don't have to sit and actually do the calculations completely yourself. It will do that for you, but I think I spoke to someone who was really frustrated with the game and thought that it was a really, really poor, crappy game and it didn't work, and they just, they wanted the more glue. What that made me think of was the concept from that game where people just go more boosters. And what this guy had done, what he's just added more and more and more boosters to his rocket. But the booster added, of course, the thrust, but the boosters also added the extra weight. So while the weight to thrust ratio did improve a little bit in a direction where it might actually be able to take off and go leave the atmosphere and stuff like that, actually fly as a space rocket. While he did do that, every booster he added improved the ratio by so little that he just needed, I don't think he ever finished, but it was like 10-20 boosters at the time. Which is hilarious to look at, obviously, but it's also very inefficient, and there's a financial aspect to it in game about how much stuff costs, but mostly the wonkiness comes from the physics engine having limitations. If your computer is only this powerful, you can only simulate that many elements. Yeah, except Kerbal Rock is like that. I was not thinking about you specifically, but then the Kraken strikes exactly, because you have too many pieces that need to be simulated, and then it just cannot update everything fast enough, and then suddenly you get it can be rounding errors, it can be small glitches, and so on. Do I have a mod who would like to ban that person, please? Thank you. So yeah, I mean, and what would usually happen is that the simulation in Kerbal would slow down until at some point things, the update speed, per frame or whatever, would be so long that sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so it's that when it made the next one, the update time was so long that it kind of overcompensated. Now, imagine you have a spring that you pull out, and then when you let go, it bounces back. And normally in a spring or a dampener for a car, it'll go back and forth like this. But if you pull it out too far, because of you have a long, high frame rate, low frame rate actually, long time between frames, it may actually, and I know this because I did physics simulations back at university. It will actually go too long because it think it's going for, I don't know, a few seconds, and then the estimate of where it is so far away that when it bounces back, then the force applied in the other direction is insanely high, causing it to just shoot through back and then go through the other one if they have some problems. Thank you, Rohan, for banning and reporting. Hopefully that means that someone else will not be interrupted in their streams by such annoying people. Cool. Let's get... this one is annoying me just a little bit. Because it's... What is it? Something is messing about with this here. So yeah, you're off for that burger, right? I will not be going on much longer either because I haven't had dinner yet. But yeah, enjoy your burger, Rohan. Thank you for stopping by. A pleasure as always. So Modifian, what are you up to on this beautiful Sunday evening? There we go. I mean, I think that's as good as it gets at the moment. I mean, it might have been better if I had, put the angles in the other one. We're trying different variations of rice pilaf. Once water add peas. Peas is bad. All you taste is peas. What's rice pilaf? I don't know. For those of us who are not master chefs, what is rice pilaf? Let's just add these ones as well. We might as well add as much as possible while we are here. Pilaf pasta, and a mix of brown and wild rice, carrot, celery, not peas, garlic, and vegetable stock. Ooh, that sounds like a good one. You tried mushrooms this time. Okay, so did you have a nice trip? From the mushrooms. How do I put this down so we can dry? I mean, this one needs to dry and that needs to dry. I think I just need to keep going and need to add the wheels. Almost don't even need to glue them on. But I will anyway. Just give them just a bit to maybe fasten it in here. Slivered almonds, it does look really cool. So when are you going to make that for me? Huh? 19th? Going to turn? No, the wheels are not going to turn. They wouldn't be able to anyway, because they have a square peg in a round hole. I'm expecting jokes from you on that one. So cool. So rice pilaf on the 19th is a date. corn fake chickens. No, sounds delicious. Does it? So I will look forward to that, and we can just hang out, play with Her Royal Eliness. And why didn't you tell me that I didn't put glue on the last one? But even how am I ever gonna glue my hands together if you don't tell me when I forget to use glue? I'm not angry, just disappointed. So there we go. I actually think these ones should have been glued the other way around, but I don't care. It is done, and it is there, and it works. And this bit here annoys me. Oh, there we go. Your hands are your canvas, be free. Damn good job. Thank you. I mean, no instructions. I'm pretty well. I'm pretty happy for how it went. What I need to do now is sort of whatever they call it, the bolt fastness, tightness, whatever, outside on the wheels. And yeah, I guess I could have just started gluing those on, and then the wheels would be able to turn. But I mean, we're just placing it on the board. We are not going anywhere with it. So that's going to be a nice addition to our terrain collection. And since he's not here, the guy I usually play Malifaux with, I can reveal that I've started looking into playing with someone other than Perdita and the family crew, which I've only ever really played that one. I think the very first introduction game I played a different master, but all the times we played for real, I played the same crew, basically the same people, almost the exact same setup with the gear and equipment they have, because it's not a lot. It's pretty straightforward what goes where. But I'm looking into playing with a different master, and I'm gonna be very secretive about it. So when he shows up, then one day I'm just gonna spring it on him and tell him that I'll be playing something else. I haven't decided what yet. I will therefore put this, even though it's now out there in the open. I don't think he goes back to watch my streams. I'd be very flattered if he did, but I really don't expect it. And besides, it's not that big a secret anyway. But I hope to be able to surprise him, and I'll not be painting the miniatures on stream, obviously. I want to keep it secret. So just, surprise him with a fully painted, different crew. Well, there you go. All the pieces out. And almost done with these things as well. Let's just plop that one out. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. I actually have quite a lot of glue on my hands at the moment. You doubted me, Modifian. How dare you doubt me? You know that I will always at least deliver a little bit of entertainment. So there we go. Now the stream time is at 1 hour 12 minutes. So taking into account that I'm always, as always, just ranting on, I think I've done a pretty good job of this. I mean, I've not rushed it in any way, just quietly just... Yeah, that's going to be glue all over the place. Way too much for this. So let's just... And again, if you're using one of your brushes for for glue, make sure it's a brush you don't care too much about, because the glue is, well, you can wash it out because it's water soluble, so you can prevent the worst of it from being horrible. But yeah. There you go. Hey Bill, You are just in time to see me finishing up this very lovely carriage. And I will be let you know that I've found 2 people who want to play with us later today if you still have time. Thank you. I do believe it looks good. So if you're up for it, we're not going to be playing with bots. We're going to be playing with real people that I know. And oh, that's cool. You are game. That is awesome. I look forward to that, Bill. You're always fun to play with. And as vanquished on vermins, let's kill the rats. I'll just finish off the last bits on this one here. And still have plenty of time. And so there we go. Yeah, gotta make some food. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, Bill. I'll catch you a little bit later. And there we go. And oh, let's do like this. Now this is kind of the tricky part because I don't want to force too much or something is just gonna break off, and I would just hate for that to happen just before finishing. But I'll just clean up the glue down here. I mean, the glue does dry up to be clear. Well, it dries up clear, I guess it's called. But if you have too much glue sticking around, it's gonna be visible. But yeah. Now the last pieces are these ones here, and I'm just gonna do a dry fit, which seems to be a really good thing that I'm doing, because these don't fit well. That's a really tight fit. So, like that on all of them. Okay, so Modifian, I'm sticking pegs through holes, and you're not jumping on the tans to make lewd jokes. I'm a little disappointed. Oh, right. I'm just gonna finish up this. Slowly just getting... I should probably have done this before gluing them on. So that's the lesson for all of you watching this. Dry fit everything before you glue anything on. Let's see how this goes. It's actually a little easier, a little better. Wait, it's not something like them being... No, they're not being differently shaped, but oh, I can... okay. I can actually adjust these, since it's a hexagonal over a square peg. I would actually be able to, I don't know if you can see it, layer them. So one goes with the flat side out, and this one, next one goes with the pointed side out. I think I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna go with the flat sides facing forwards. Gonna be less aerodynamic. We talked a little bit about Kerbal Space Program. So aerodynamics is something you should keep an eye on. But we're not gonna worry. We're not gonna worry too much about that. We're also not gonna worry about glue on the lower ones here. Because there's 4 to each side, and if we just glue in the top one, it's gonna keep the other ones in place. So let's cheat, because cheating is fun. So let's just do this. Give it a little bit of glue. There we go. Add it here. And there we go. I'm not entirely sure I like the design of the lamps like this, but then again, it's wood. What else are you gonna do? I'm gonna do the same over here. Plug them in one at a time, and we're actually almost done with the carriage. And that needs a little bit of grinding down. Now I should probably point out that this is not something I've designed myself, which should be evident from the fact that it says Tabletop Scenics over here. But just again, give credit where credit's due, and don't claim credit for stuff you haven't done. Unless you can get away with it. Hey, welcome back. So is the nightmare taken care of? I get credit for everything. Yeah, well, Magic Men, we that's what we do. So anyway, this is a carriage. I think it turned out quite nicely. So again, we can just imagine. Oh, let's imagine Nino. Let's imagine Nino falling off the carriage. He's definitely going to do it. No, I'm not going to paint it because painting these ones here. Can I actually get this in focus? Okay, my camera is not focusing in any way at all. It's neither manual or autofocus, so it's gonna be a little bit on the down here. But yeah, imagine him standing up there just firing it away, everyone. So no, I'm not gonna paint it. Partly because it takes way too long, but also because it's gonna obscure the engravings on the wood. And finally, I also like that. I like the look of the burned off wood on the edges here. I'm not too keen on these parts here that should have been grinded down, but when you grind it down, you remove the burned parts of the woods. But I just like the general feel it gives. The other terrain I have somewhere downstairs have the same look to it. Some of it is actually, instead of just being plain wood colored, it's been layered. All of it is just a blue colored sheet they've cut it out of, so it has a blue finish to it. That also looks pretty amazing. But yeah, so I think that is more or less it for today. We got a carriage, a chariot, whatever, assembled, a noble's carriage. And so I'm just gonna say thank you for dropping by and hanging out with me here tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. I even think I managed to avoid going too far off on rants. I think that's a first. But to round off the evening, I will suggest that we go. I was going to say that we should go have a look at what Emma is doing, because she's supposed to be streaming. She was supposed to actually be streaming. No, wait, she's only doing that on weekdays, of course. She's streaming on weekdays at 8 o'clock, and it's Sunday today, so she's not streaming. So instead of that, what we'll be doing is that I will glue my fingers together, because that's going to be fun. My glue went here. So, now you're just being annoying. See all that glue? All that glue on all these fingers. Now, how long am I gonna have to leave it here? But you know what, Modifian? If my fingers actually stick so far that I cannot get them apart, I will not be able to visit you on the 19th. So are you sure you want me to do this? See, you have the glue there. It's beginning to stick. So yeah. Anyway, with the wonderful view of my fingers being glued together, I will round off the stream for tonight. You have been a lovely audience as always. Thank you for stopping by on this Sunday evening to have a look at a little creativity and playing around and assisting me in getting this carriage assembled without the instructions because it didn't come with it. I appreciate your company as always, and don't think there's anything else to say other than remember to keep painting.